Today we are going to continue the chapter number 14, communications, and we are on our paper 3, A2 computer science. Today the topic is circuit switching and packet switching. In IGCSE computer, last year we have discussed about packet switching. Aisha, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
So what is packet switching? Any idea?
Like, sir, when data is transmitted, it's broken up into packets.
Yes, that's correct. Basically, once we are going to send our data is broken down into a small packets. Remember, up there I teach you that the data is broken down into the packets, and in a data packet, look, this is how we are going to do the transmission. So in packet switching, in circuit switching, the data is being sent to the recipient in a following way. First, we are going to start from the circuit switching. Circuit switching uses a dedicated channel or a wire which lasts throughout the connection. So in circuit switching, we are using a wire or a circuit. But what is a dedicated meaning? Dedicated means the specific, the special one. So the communication line is effectively tied up when sending data across a network. So nowadays, we all have a fiber optic cable, right? Even in my home, I'm using fiber optic, and throughout our city, mostly connections are on fiber optic. So fiber optic is a dedicated cable, which is going to provide us the internet at a great speed, right? So circuit switching supports that thing, that you are sending some data to somebody through a dedicated channel, a specific channel or a wire, and your whole data is tied up. It means it can't be lost. It is safe. So there are 3 stages. Number 1, first, a circuit or a channel between sender and the receiver must be established. As I told you that I'm using fiber optic. So fiber optic is a dedicated channel. That is the reason it is costly. And that is the reason I'm going to give you a lesson, and my lesson broadcasts to you very easily. Like when I'm teaching, I teach many students like across the border. I teach in Malaysia, I teach in Canada, I teach in Italy. All the transmissions are successful. Why? Because of a circuit switching. Number 2, data transfer then take place, which can be analog or digital. This is the point. So the transmission is usually bi-directional. Yes, guys. What is the meaning of point number 2? Here we are discussing that the data transfer can be analog or digital, but nowadays we are on digital one. So this should be removed, because when we are going to use a fiber optic, all the data is in digital form, and it is always bi-directional. Bi-directional. What is the meaning of bi-directional, Mustafa?
It travels both ways, so from one end to another, and from the other end
Very good
to
answer.
back to. So
Perfect. So number 3, all the data transfer is complete. The connection is terminated. So once you have done with your transmission, the data is transferred, your channel will be terminated. So this is how the circuit switching works. Remember, packet and circuit, both are different. Okay, let's discuss some advantages. Number 1, the circuit used is dedicated to the single transmission only. So I discussed this point up there in point number 1, that the circuit means a dedicated channel. So this channel is specifically used for the single transmission. So there will be no other transmission take place in a one time. So this is a benefit. Let's discuss some drawbacks, cons. It is not very flexible. For example, It will send empty frames and it has to use a single dedicated line. Empty frame means when the transmission is done, some empty frames are going after the transmission or in between the transmission. So as it is using a single wire channel, so this thing is considered as a con as well. It is also an advantage, but it is considered also a disadvantage. Why? Because if the single or the dedicated line got damaged, this will be the problem because you have a single channel right now. So you need to repair it. I think you are familiar. You both are familiar about the globally internet problem. Yes, Mustafa, any idea? Did you hear that news?
No.
Okay, last week, today is Monday. Last Tuesday or Thursday, from Australia, there is some problem. Maybe it is a cyber attack, but there are no evidences for cyber attack. So the Microsoft take that responsibility that there is a problem in the transmission from Australia and the whole world is suffering. WhatsApp is not responding on time. The messages are not sending on time. Aisha, do you know this about the delay
No,
of
sir, I
data?
didn't.
Like in WhatsApp, I'm sending some pictures. That pictures are not going on time. I'm keep trying. After some time, it's sent because there is a transmission delay throughout the world. And this thing happened from Australia. And 4,286 flights are delayed because the internet was down. पता नहीं आप लोग कहाँ रहते हैं इतनी important news नहीं पता आप लोगों को throughout the world internet is failed 4,000 plus flights are cancelled in many countries even internet is not working in Pakistan partially internet is working guys where are you search it on internet so this happened because there must be some problem Microsoft take that responsibility because Microsoft said it is a problem from Microsoft and that is spreading throughout the world. They are saying it is not cyber attack. It is just a problem. So we are solving it. तो उसको solve करने में अभी time लग रहा है अभी तक still last week से problem हुआ हुआ है I told you this thing और still we are facing the problem पता नहीं आप लोगों को कैसे feel नहीं हो रहा इंटरनेट इतना slow चल रहा है कि आप लोगों की सोच है शायद या तो आप लोग इंटरनेट यूज नहीं करते होंगे ज्यादा जैसे मेरी यूज बहुत है so I am facing the difficulty so this difficulty problem happened okay just like that in a circuit switching we are facing the problem because we are using a dedicated channel number two advantage the whole of the bandwidth is available yes because it's a dedicated channel or a line from one computer to another so all the bandwidth is available in the transmission so the bandwidth is not going to be divided the whole network so it speeds up your transmission this is a good point number two con nobody else can use a circuit even when it is idle yes it is a dedicated one guys so nobody is allowed to use until the user is going to use it number third the data transfer rate is faster I discussed up there it is faster okay the circuit is always there whether or not it is used yes if you're not using it or using it it is available so this should be not be like that if you're not using it the circuit should be used by any other user this is my thought okay if you're not using the transmission so the other person can use the transmission but right in circuit switching it is not possible it's a dedicated so it is particularly assigned to the user the packets of data that's what frames arrive at the destination in the same order as they were sent yes remember data hopping Aisha
Yes, sir.
Mustafa do you know about data hopping
No, I don't know it correctly,
okay let
but
me
I've heard it before.
you heard it
I
okay
think we did it.
So it's used in routing, right?
yes let me draw a picture and then I will explain you it's very important point guys Data hopping is a very important point. Okay, these are the two computers, and this is a transmission channel. So the data is going to be broken down into packets like this. These are the packets arriving at the destination. Okay. Now, any of the data bounce off from the transmission, it is bounced off or gone. So what do you think, Mustafa? Transmission is getting any error or not?
No, I think like we did last time, the packet will just not go through, and then it will, once you retry, it will send the packet again.
But in the first attempt, the packet bounce off from the transmission. So we get an error. This bouncing off a packet from the transmission is called data hopping. So for that, the computer is going to put a label on every data like this, on every data packet. So the transmission come to know that packet number 4 is not present in the transmission. It means the transmission have an error. So once we are going to retry, the packet will be arranged in an order. This thing is called data hopping, right? So look, they said the packet of data arrive at the destination in the same order. So how many packets we have? 6. So when the receiver receives the packets here in this computer, it will be in the order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is a packet switching advantage. Is that clear now? Mustafa?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if there is a failure or a fault on the dedicated line, there is no alternative routing available. यही point तो मैंने आपको अभी ऊपर discuss किया है कि it's a dedicated channel. So if there is no, or if there is any other kind of an error in the transmission line, so you have to wait for the repairing. You have to wait for the repairing because it takes time. अभी मैंने बताया globally हमारा इंटरनेट डाउन है और आप लोगों को पता ही नहीं है. कसम से मुझे हैरत होती है कंप्यूटर साइंस क्यों लिया था तुम लोगों ने. देखो भाई, मैं तुम लोगों को पहले भी एक बात समझाई है, अभी फिर समझा रहा हूँ. कंप्यूटर साइंस सिर्फ रट्टा नहीं है, सिर्फ मुझसे पढ़ना या A2 क्लियर करना नहीं है. Computer science means that you have a good knowledge, a sound knowledge of your surroundings. What is going on in the world? You must know this thing. If you are not updated, believe me, you're wasting time. Okay. So if the transmission is failed, it means the whole network will be drawn. So you have to repair the transmission. Definitely, it will take some time. So these are some pros and cons. So guys, take out your notebook, write down about circuit switching points first, and then you need to write 3 pros and 3 cons. I'm waiting. So guys, you see this Microsoft CrowdStrike issues causes largest IT outage in the history. I told you how many flights, 4,000 plus flights cancelled due to this problem. Microsoft claiming that it is not a cyber attack. They are saying that it is a kind of a problem rise in a software, and that problem causes the whole thing. But whatever, I don't say anything about this thing because they know well better than me about what's going on in their software. But due to that thing, the whole world suffered. Millions of rupees, are just, so you can see Microsoft is going to take the responsibility of this whole outbreak. So guys, this is happening in the world, that the softwares are going to be outdated, or there is a problem in the software which causes the problem in the whole world. And this thing starts from Australia, right? So you have to go through all these things. And due to that reason, in Pakistan, the internet speed is slow. The WhatsApp is not going to send messages on time. And even I think Facebook is also going to be suffered. Facebook तो अपडेट ही नहीं हो रहा था. अच्छा, प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि पाकिस्तान में इन डेज में ना 9 और 10 मुहर्रम लाए कर रहे थे, तो हमारी सोच कहती है 9 and 10 मुहर्रम की वजह से ना प्रॉब्लम हुआ है. But once I go to the article and search on internet, so I found this error. So this is going to be happen in the world, guys. ये बहुत जरूरी है कि we have to be updated all time. अच्छा जी, next topic is a packet switching. Packet switching was introduced in chapter number 2. We have already done with the packet switching, guys. ठीक है ना? So when describing VoIP together with a diagram to show how the individual packets are routed from client to client. So हमने यहाँ पर एक diagram पढ़ी थी. There it is. This is your computer A. That's called your router A. And this is your computer B. This is your router B. So the data is going to be broken down into packets. Look. And it is going to choose its own destination. देखिए, green इस destination पे जा रहा है अपने path, अपने route पर, और red यहाँ पर चला गया. Did you notice this thing? अच्छा, यहाँ पर 2 packets थे, purple and blue. So you see, purple chooses this route and blue chooses this route. So every packet is going to choose its own route. So मैं blue वाले को थोड़ा सा highlight कर रहा हूँ, ये देखो. Done and done. So see, all the packets are going to be assembled here. In this way, guys, the routing is done, and this is called packet switching. So packet switching means that the data is broken down into packets. You can see here, it is a method of transmission in which a message is broken down into a number of packets that can be sent independently to each other from start point to the end. Note that each packet follows its own path. We know this thing. Routing selection depends on the number of datagram waiting to be processed at each node or route. Guys, this thing happened automatically. Like you said, sir, why the green chooses R2, R1, then R3, R4. This is not happened manually. Actually, the packets are going to choose their own route or route. So it happened automatically. The shortest path available is selected. So in this way, the packets are going to pick the shortest path according to them, right? Packets can reach the destination in a different order, so that in which they are sent. You see, the first one is a red here, the second one is a blue, the third one is a green, and fourth one is a purple. And then you see the transmission is mixed here, red, purple, green, and blue. But once it is reached to the router path B, router B, it is going to be assembled automatically. See here. So this is called packet switching. Guys, let's discuss some advantages and disadvantages. Number 1, no need to tie up a communication line. This is the benefit. Like we have done in circuit switching, that the dedicated channel is tied up. But here in packet switching, there is no dedicated channel, right? Okay. Con, number 1, the protocol for packet switching can be more complex. Those for circuit switching, yes, it is bit complex due to the datagram, due to the routers. Number 2, it is possible to overcome failed or faulty lines by simply rerouting. Yes, it is easy. Why? Because the computer is going to pick the rerouting automatically and the data will be sent. But here, for if a packet is lost, the sender must resend the packet. Yes, it takes time. When there is an error in the transmission, you're looking for the transmission and it takes some time to send the data back to the recipient. Number 3, circuit switching changes the user on the distance and duration of a connection, but packet switching charges users only for the duration of the connection. So circuit switching charges a user on the distance and duration, but in a packet switching, you have to only charge for the duration of connectivity. So circuit switching and packet switching here, there's a big difference between. Con, the circuit or channel has to share its bandwidth with other packets. Yes. Bandwidth means the speed of sending the data. So once you're using the packet switching, definitely the bandwidth must be shared. And what is the drawback? It will be slower as compared to circuit switching. High data transmission is possible with the packet switching. There is a delay at the destination while packets are reassembled. Why? Because the bandwidth is distributed, the speed get affected, they take time in assembling the data packets, and it takes some time. Here, the transmission data is possible. High data transmission is possible with the packet. So that rate of data transmission is higher here. They are saying that. But here, if I'm going to read this con, so I'm not agree with this point. Because if the bandwidth is distributed, then definitely it will affect the transmission rate. Okay, packet switching always uses digital networks. Con needs a large amount of RAM to handle with a large amounts of data. So they are basically used with some kind of supercomputers where you have a good RAM. Like I have 16 GB RAM, so I can use packet switching. But if somebody has 4 GB RAM, definitely they have to choose the circuit switching. So guys, this is the thing. So what you have to do, take out your notebook, first write down, I think you have to write down only 2 points for packet switching. After this, you have to move here. The pros and cons, only 2. Then I will give you a task. First, finish this. Let me know once you're done with the packet switching. State the 3 differences between packet switching and circuit switching. So guys, how you're going to do this task, you need to draw a table like this. Like this. After drawing this table, you have to make one column for the packet switching. Copy, paste, copy, and paste. And then you have to write down the differences among them, not the features. I want a difference, right? So send your answers in the group. I'm waiting.